because I write, but I write and it's still sitting on my computer. How do you just stay motivated and just not sit and?
Well, the thing is, I think a lot of times, whether it's a writer or an actor or a dancer or a model, a lot of times, and I'm not saying this is in your case, but in a lot of cases, people are trying to be stars and not the actor or not the writer or not the model, because the fame will come.
Right.
Stars spelled backwards is rats.
Oh wow! I never knew that.
So it's okay to go for success. I often say, "Dag, I got the fame but no fortune," but I love doing what I'm doing.
So much,
and you can, and I think a lot of times with actors, even with writers, they sort of compare themselves to somebody else who did. That's their journey.
Right.
I've never concerned myself with any other writer. I just knew I wanted to write. And if you have something at home on the computer that you've written and you believe in, then it's time for you to say, okay, now what's the next phase here?
Right.
I'm going to take some time and develop this. Somebody said, well, how do I write a script? I said, well, don't worry about that. If you're a writer, just write. You can always find somebody that can teach you structure.
Right.
You can go to the library and get a book on structure. But if you just write,
just do it. Yeah.
Just do it.
Just
and,
finish
and do as much of it as you can. You can always take away from it.
Right.
I had never written a novel, but I went and I said, look, there is a method to that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, because when they wanted you to take the piece that you already had and put it in a book, I'm like, well, here's the script.
And they're like, no, because what I found out is like when you do a novel, there's no pictures. So the book has to be descriptive to the person. The reader has to be able to know. If I was doing a stage play, they could say, Ursula and Don sat in two chairs on a stage and talked.
Right.
Well, the audience sees that.
Right.
But the book, it would say, and they were in these type of chairs. Don had on a pair of jeans and a shirt. She had this hat. Because you have to be descriptive. And that's what the frustrating part was.
Because you can't see it, okay.
Because you're writing this.
That's so tedious.
It's very tedious. And with my first novel, I actually hired a copy editor to help me with structure.
Right, yeah.
And by the second book, I was like, keep that money for yourself. I know it now. But if you write, you just got to say, okay, I've written this. Did I write this just for Ursula? Or did I write this to share with everybody else? Because if I wrote it for Ursula, it's where it should be. Personally in your house, on your computer, or in a folder. But if you want us to see it, then you got to go to that area and say, you know what? I'm going to develop this into a stage play, a screenplay, a book, whatever the feel is. And don't worry about what's wrong and what's right. Just write it.
Right, okay. Just do it, right?
Just do it.
Tell them to just do it.
Just do it.
Because I always tell my kids, excuses is, if you don't want to succeed, create excuses.
Yeah,
that's your quickest way down.
Yeah, we have people, I get actors all the time, oh, I'm late. Okay, well, you late. Why are you late? Well, there was traffic. Well, there's always traffic in LA. And if you had that audition tomorrow at Sony Lot, you would.
Oh, you was gonna be there. Oh, you just come in here. My camera person was so sick. I was like, let's go. We gotta I'm moving through traffic. When you're late, it's just so disrespectful.
Well, and I mean, of course, sometimes there's things that just cannot be helped.
Right.
But when
like, just suck it up. Come on, let's go.
I have a couple of actors who I've said, okay, now
they late because they're getting a pedicure,
or it's an ongoing thing.
Right.
And it's a different, and we have excuses about everything. Excuses. People, I don't want to use the word hate, but a lot of times actors will say, like I think I wrote about it one time on Facebook, I got so many responses, oh, I'm on my grind. And I said, well, what's your grind? What is your grind? They're like, I'm just grinding. Okay, but
do you even know what you're saying?
What are you saying? And what are you doing every day? If you don't wake up and go to bed thinking about this industry and what you can do to move yourself to the next level, then then you know what it is to you? It's a hobby.
Right.
And ain't nothing wrong with having a hobby.
But yeah, exactly. But don't try to make it a career. It's two different things. And I know I'm guilty of things that I'll sit and complain like, God, but I know I'm not applying myself as much as as much as that next person.
And when you know that, then you cool because you know that, okay, I know what I have to do to make this change.
Exactly. And that's what I started doing. I was like, okay, I see this cycle. I know what's going on, so I need to jump up and make that happen.
Yeah, it's like I've had some actresses, some girls I know who will say things like, oh, Beyonce can't act. I don't know why they gave her that role. She's a singer. And I'm thinking to myself, but wait a minute. you used to dance.
And
You were a dancer and you decided to act now. Or an athlete who says, I don't want that rap. Why that rapper got that role? Excuse me, you were playing ball. Now you want to act. What's the difference? If that person was a sports figure and they've taken classes to become an actor, and this person was a singer and what makes you any different? You was twirling and dancing.
I know. I did I was bad. Because I was doing movie reviews there for a minute, and I did one on Obsessed. Mm-hmm. Is it Obsessed? Yeah, with Beyonce, and yeah, I really tore it down really bad.
And if you're smart, but guess what? Let me tell you why she was smart in that movie. If you really watch that movie, and I'm not saying she was not a great actress, but here's what she was smart about. She bought that property to produce, and she gave herself the lesser of the two female roles. She knew the meaty role went to that chick.
Right.
Because she knew she was not handling that. She could not. But just why you take things and you grow, and you grow. I mean, it was camp. It was fun. But she also said, I'm not there yet.
Right. So not even trying.
Right.
But then I recently seen, what movie was
Cadillac Records.
Oh, yes. Tore it up. I was like, Beyonce just, and people's like, you hating on Beyonce. I'm like, I'm not hating on her. But when she was walking out her own bedroom saying she gonna let the cops handle this, and this chick is in her bed and been messing with her husband, her son, no.
Right. But but that also was the script.
Right. And I've been in like, look, director, look.
Right.
I can try. I mean, I could be the best actress I can, but I might forget.
Right.
And go back in there and start choking.
And that's why someone like her is taking classes. But I always tell people, remember this. Beyonce has been in this industry since she was 9 years old. She was coming home from school every day, and her parents had her rehearsing. And now the acting thing is new, but it just makes me angry.
She tore up Cadillac.
Yeah, but it makes me angry when I hear certain actors will say, that rapper has that role taken from us actors. And I look at your resume, and you used to play basketball.
Right.
Or you were a college.
So you're limited to one talent per person. And
we have to stop being so critical when people are trying to do the work.
Right. Because I know I'm going to be grabbing and they're going like, gosh, Ursula, is there any type of thing your hand isn't in? I'm like, well, if you find out, I'm going to let me know so I can put my hand in it. But see, I live by this, Don. No one can take anything from you that's not meant for you. That's already
going to be meant for you. That's right.
So
that's right.
If there's a role for African American woman my age, 25. Anyway, and I have 6 friends that are African American my age. I'm gonna tell them.
Yeah.
Why would I not? If they can get it and not me, then hey, shoot, give me some free tickets or something.
Well, you know what? It really is the crabs in a barrel mentality, and that's a whole nother show, because that starts talking about, as far as I'm concerned, that goes. Believe it or not, the crabs in a barrel thing with African Americans, especially, it really is a cultural race thing that started way before. I'll just touch on it lightly by saying this: when African Americans were slaves, you had the house and the field. And usually the ones that were in the house were light-skinned and treated better. And the ones in the field were darker, and they picked the cotton. Well, here's what happened. I don't care if you don't have to believe this, but it's the truth. What happened is when slavery was abolished and just ended, and all the African American, all blacks came up north or whatever and were free, you had a lot of light-skinned black folks, and I'm light-skinned, to a certain extent, that wasn't dealing with the dark folks were saying, you was in the field, I was in the house, so I'm not even dealing with you when we go up north. And that's and it's crazy, but that's the mentality. And the sad thing about it is that a lot of times today we are so afraid that somebody's going to take something from us that we don't want to share.
Holding each other back.
Listen, if I can find if I know something that you said and you weren't right for it, why aren't you going to tell somebody else?
Right. I mean, if it's meant for you to have, I don't care if 10,000 more girls that looks like you.